Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to the biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And of course, there is no bigger star than Wynne Evans. How are you?
Very good.
People might say, Wynne Evans, big star. Well, of course, we all know you for good and for bad reasons, don't we? It must be interesting being you because you're slightly annoying when you're in character.
Slightly annoying out of character, my wife would say. If nobody's got a clue who I am, it's bizarre to think that I'm probably the only person who's been on TV every day for the last 4 years. They need to work it out now, don't they, who I am?
It is exceptional, this Go Compare advert. I mean, we can't stop watching it. They're now parodying the parody. They keep making fun of you, making fun of it. Everybody's laughing at everybody, so we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, that was the funny thing. When it first started, we knew that it was going to be annoying, and it was made quite tongue-in-cheek, really. But nobody, the general public didn't know that. They thought that we were being serious, but no, and I mean that was a shock to everybody. I didn't realise people would find it quite so annoying, but then I didn't realise it would be on quite so much. So it's gone full circle, really.
What is slightly upsetting for me is that you're a big star, you're a talented star, and you've got a new album out which is called Wynne, which is going to be available very shortly. You're an incredible talent, and sort of the only thing people know you for big time is this advert. Does that bother you at all?
Not at all. No, absolutely not at all. I've been an opera singer for 20 years, and I was, working as a principal at the Royal Opera House. So I kind of reached a fairly good level within the world of opera. And then this opportunity came along to do this advert, and it's been great. People say, "Oh, are you sick of it now? Have you had enough of it?" Not at all. What I always have to remember is, we wouldn't be having this conversation today if it wasn't for that advert. So every kind of opportunity that has made me better known to the general public, as it were, is because of that advert. So, you can't be annoyed. I can't be annoyed at that in any way.
What's also exceptional is the fact that you get to star in it and sing in it. I mean, there aren't many adverts where they would use the same person for both, is there?
No, when it was first brought out, that was part of the problem, is that they didn't think they would find the same person. So they booked me just to do the voice. And when I was doing the voice, they said, "Oh, look, you need to make it look a little bit, it needs to sound a little bit more exuberant, I guess." So I started throwing my arms around in the booth, and they kind of went, "Actually, you could probably be in it as well." So I kind of stumbled across it, really. It wasn't through design or anything like that. So it was, it was good. And also because the owner of the company, it's a Welsh company, and she kind of wanted a Welsh person to be in the ad if it was at all possible. So I ticked all the right boxes, right place, right time.
How do I phrase this without offending you? Is there a lot of pressure on you, Wynne, not to start eating lettuce and become a slinky balinky? Because if you were slim, it wouldn't work, would it?
I don't know about that. One newspaper kind of quoted them that I was getting paid, I think it was like £500,000 a year to stay fat. If I was, that would be the best diet I've ever been on in my life. No, it's just sheer overindulgence. I'm afraid. I should probably eat more lettuce, though. I should.
From a money point of...
Have you ever done one of those weird cabbage diets or lettuce diets?
Listen, don't talk to me about diets. I've just spent the last 2.5 years losing 3.5 stone. I'm miserable. Anybody who says going to the gym is fun is a liar or mentally ill as far as I'm concerned. I've never been more depressed in my life. I look better, but I've never been more depressed.
No, but it is good for you to be slightly lighter, I'm sure.
I don't know. I'm going back to the philosophy that just being fat and happy and eating everything I want is probably worth it. If I might have a few years less doing it, but at least I'd be happy.
Well, what I did was I became an ambassador of the British Heart Foundation. So, because if anybody's going to have a heart attack, it's me. So I may as well, get my face in there early on.
In terms of money, what I love about what you do is it is very well paid to be the face of any campaign, let alone to do it for 4 years where they need you back because you're associated with it. Does it sometimes surprise you that you're probably on more money than 99% of show business and you just have to do this advert? Nothing else you could do really in your career can compare, can it?
No, I mean, I've been incredibly lucky, and the financial side of it is great, and it's also giving me that bit of freedom to do other things that I wouldn't have, been able to do before as a jobbing singer. It's really hard, and I'm very grateful for that it's given me that opportunity to be able to do other things. and have a nice life for myself and my family. So it's been absolutely priceless for that.
And God bless you. I mean, normally these things last about 3 months, and then they come and they're massive and they go, and you're still here. I suppose I should ask, are you still making them? Are they still going to carry on the campaign?
Yes, I can't really say any more than that, but I'm committed to Go Compare for the foreseeable future.
Very good. And my producer Tarquin's just asked me, he can't remember how the advert goes. How does it go again, Wynne?
Do you know what's awful though, right? It is I'm standing in the street outside panicking, and now I'm going to have to do it. This is like my worst nightmare. It goes like this. I have to be very careful. There's people walking past you all the time. It goes, Go Compare! Like that. You can't not do it.
You're going to get arrested.
When people meet me and they kind of go, this is the most embarrassing thing actually. People meet me like dads, and then they've got their children with them, and they say, you know that is Glue. And the kid goes, no, not Glue. And then the father will go, go on, do it for him. And you're kind of going, I don't think it's kind of the right thing to do in the middle of St. Paul's Cathedral. And they won't let it go. They keep going, go on, do it. You must do it for him. So in the end, you just end up doing it really, really quietly. And then the kid's kind of going, but he's got a moustache.
I'm glad you embrace it. I've interviewed a lot of stars over the years who start with, can you not talk about the thing that made them most famous? At which point I normally put the phone down. You have to embrace it.
Absolutely. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's like forgetting where you came from. Do you know what I mean? It's all what makes us what we are, what we are today. And I'm really proud of the adverts, and I'm really proud of what we've done for Go Compare. There's a company that was, not making a profit, and now it's one of the biggest companies in the UK, and it's just a lovely thing to be part of, because it's just still run by a couple of people in Wales, and it's a lovely thing to feel part of that whole process of making a company really, really successful. And that's been an eye-opener for me, because you know what it's like as entertainers, you're just so focused on yourself, and to be part of a bigger picture and to be part of like a real business has been absolutely brilliant, and a valuable lesson in how to conduct myself as a business and myself as a brand. So it's been really good.
Well, congratulations to you. I mean, for anybody studying advertising or anything like that, they should look at the history of this advert, because quite frankly, there are so few that actually get through, and that's the point of an advert. Let's move on from that. Wynne Evans, of course, is the Welsh star from Carmarthen, born there in West Wales. I had a lovely time. I did a breakfast show in Llanelli, and I have just spat all over the microphone. I know it's cliched, but there is something about singing being synonymous with those from especially South Wales. People love to sing in Wales, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's kind of part of our heritage. You go to the rugby or you go to the football and you sing, and you don't really see that. I mean, you do see it with other countries. If you go and watch England play, they do sing, but they generally only sing one song. The Welsh have got a repertoire that will last 90 minutes, and they probably won't repeat anything. But it's opportunity as well. We have, like I said, adverts in Wales, and things like, my parents used to run a theatre and all of that rubbish. And it's all about having opportunity to perform. And I think if you've got opportunity to perform and it becomes something that's very, very normal when you're a child, then when you grow up, it's not like, people say, oh, was it hard for you in school, being a performer? It wasn't at all. Because it was just like, singing in the National Choir, the National Choir of Wales, was like representing your country in rugby. It was on level terms. And so it was a totally normal thing to do. So it was great. Absolutely brilliant.
There are a lot of people who try and sing. There are few who do it well. And you have mastered the art of classical singing. This new album is called Wynne. It features one of my favourite songs ever, Nella Fantasia, which is just a beautiful song. Mavanwi is, of course, track 2. I heard somebody on the radio describe it as my fanny the other day. You don't necessarily read it as it's spelt, do you?
No, you should never read Welsh as it's spelt.
Get yourself in terrible bother.
It'll get you into all sorts of trouble.
My favourite track on the album is a song called My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose, and it is so beautiful. It's so mellifluous and cute in a way. You sing it so subtly, and that's the great thing about you guys. You can belt and you can do the big Nessun Dormas and things like that, but then you can bring it right back and do a song like My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose, and it's just so gorgeous. Congratulations on that control. Stunning.
Oh, thank you. It's it's one of those things, when you're training to be an opera singer, you become so fixated on the voice. And it's, if you're doing musical theatre, if you're doing another form, it's all about the look, whether you've got a job in musical theatre, I think as soon as you walk into the room. But with opera singing, it's all about the voice. And so I spent 7 years training at the Guildhall and the National Opera Studio. And you're so focused on technique. And so the lovely thing is, if you do kind of master the technique, then you can do anything with your voice, in theory. So it was a really, really good grounding, actually. And so on this album, I just decided, it was like one of those things, what am I going to sing? And there's always that moment with, can I bring something new to a song? And I think if you can't bring something new, then maybe you shouldn't do it. But I was totally selfish on this album, and I just put all the songs down that I thought, I love that tune, I've always loved that tune, and I'd like to have a go at recording that. And that's exactly what I've done. And then with the title, I thought, what's the most egotistical thing I can do? And I was calling after myself. So that's what I did.
Well, you don't want to confuse the punters, do you? You don't want to call it Alfie Boe or something like that. You could get into terrible problems.
I'll end up calling all my children Wynne now as well.
I think so. I tell you what it is about classical music. I've always loved it, and I've always been a big champion of people like Russell Watson and Alfie Boe and Il Divo and all these people who have brought classical music to the masses. And I've always wanted to do it myself, but the thing that always bothers me is the language, the fact that you have to sing pitch perfectly and note perfectly in a different language. And I look at what you've done. I can't even pronounce half the things, but you've done the Duke in Rigoletto, you've done Rodolfo in the La Bohème, which of course is one of the most famous of all the operas. How do you get to the point where you're confident, especially with the Welsh accent, which is so pronounced here in conversation? You've got to completely get rid of that, haven't you?
You do. With European language, with like kind of Western European languages, it's not so bad, especially like Italian, because the Welsh share a lot of vowels with the Italians, nice open vowels.
Say vowels for me again, I love that.
Vowels.
Oh, fabulous. You ought to work on Countdown.
I don't think so. I can't spell, that's my problem. And then we've got that kind of singy song into our voice, because we go high and we go low. But where I kind of have struggled, or where it's more difficult, is when you end up doing, I remember making my debut at the Royal Opera House, in a Russian opera that was 5 hours long, with no kind of background in Russian. So, you're just memorising noises. And then I've also done quite a few operas in Czech, and they're the more difficult ones, really. German, French and Italian is not that hard, and because everybody's kind of got a grasp on how you should say things, but with the Eastern European languages, it's so hard.
I once tried to go out with a Russian girl. It didn't work out. Everything ended in off.
How many years have you been waiting to use that gag?
That was where we were going with that whole entire question. Are you going to tour this album? Because I think people need to see you live. They deserve to see you live. And of course, we can have a big laugh at the end when you come on as the Go Compare man. I'm sure everybody would want to see that. Are you going to be touring this?
We will tour it probably early next year now, because I'm very much of that belief. It's going to sound like Bruce Forsyth now, but when I do a live show, I want it to be entertaining. So I want to make the audience laugh, and I want to, tell funny stories, and I want people to kind of get to know me, really. So if people can be bothered not to watch X Factor on a Saturday night, then I think as entertainers and performers, we've got this duty to kind of really entertain them. So I will tour it early next year, January, February. Before I go back to kind of full-time opera, really.
Do you get any fartheads from time to time believing that you really are that man and come and say silly things to you, or are most people on the same page?
Some are on the same page, some aren't. I was presenting a programme the other day from Llangollen in North Wales, and a woman came up to me and she said, "You're him, aren't you?" I was thinking, well, depends. If it's on the deck, then no. And she goes, "Oh, you're him, aren't you, off the telly?" I was like, yeah. She said, I'm glad this is absolutely true. She goes, I'm glad I bumped into you because my daughter's 17, she's just passed the test, and we're thinking about getting a little Clio. We're wondering what the insurance would be. And I was like, really? Really? I said, no. The thing is, I don't sell insurance. It's just in an advert. But I can put you in touch with someone, blah, blah. And